Welcome to Anita Vita Rise. All right, everybody, welcome. It's Anita Vita Rise. Anita Vita Rise, yeah. Anita Vita Rise, yeah. Anita Vita Rise, yeah. Who can make it better? Anita Vita Rise. In all types of weather, Anita Vita Rise. Get you back together, Anita Vita Rise. Go send her a letter, Anita Vita Rise. Anita Vita Rise. Anita Vita Rise, yeah. Anita Vita Rise, yeah, yeah. Anita Vita Rise.
Welcome to Rise with Anita Vita. I am your host, Anita Vita, Master Medical Qigong teacher and healer. I am so grateful and thankful you're here for another amazing episode. As you know, this show aims to amplify women's voices, have them share their stories so that they are a ripple effect of healing in this world. Tonight's guest is so amazing. I can't wait for you to meet her. She is a Reiki master, breathwork facilitator, and the amazing host of her podcast called The Unfiltered Soul. Please help me welcome Haley Navarro to the show, everyone.
Hi, Anita. Thank you for having me.
Hi. What's up, sis?
Oh, just enjoying the day, the weather, and this time. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Thank you for being here. Mm-hmm. I know when we last talked, it was just a whirlwind of things happening in the world. I think it was even pre-pandemic. And just seeing you evolve from health, wellness, and fitness, I know you still do that. And then now incorporating breath work, like fuels my soul because it's like, oh my gosh, I know that next step when we want to add another layer into our evolving and our up leveling and really connecting to that deep work. It's so beautiful to see. And so for those who are listening in and not, who don't know really the work that you do, can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Yes. So I am a breathwork facilitator, and then I incorporate Reiki into that as well. So if you don't know what breathwork is, it's basically a guided breathing session with intention. So a lot of people ask, is it meditation? And yes, you can go into a meditative state, but the biggest difference between breathwork and meditation is that in a breathwork practice, it's an active practice, whereas meditation is passive. So in breathwork, you have to focus on your breathing. And so that's how it's different. I find that people who have a hard time meditating tend to really enjoy the breath work because that gives them something to do and they can, like I said, go into that meditative state. And then I incorporate Reiki in everything that I do. And that's just universal life force energy that runs through, that's healing. It, calms and regulates. And it's just a yummy energy to be in. It's something that I still struggle with to explain. It's one of those things that you just have to experience to know, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. And similarly to you, it's like, how do you explain this type of spiritual practice, when we know that you just actually have to experience it for yourself? So when you began the journey, what was that like for you? And really what motivated you to say, hey, I think I really want to try breath work?
So my story goes way back, and I'm talking like 10-ish, maybe 12 years ago. I was first introduced to Reiki by my mother, who decided to take a class, and all of a sudden she became this Reiki master. And then she wanted to do Reiki, and I was like, Mom, you're a healer? Like, you watch kids. And she did a long distance healing on me, which again, I had no idea what it was at the time. She didn't ask for consent. And I ended up crying for pretty much a whole day. And she was like, I just asked spirit to release any emotions that you were hanging on to. And that's exactly what I did. And to be honest, it scared me. And so I wanted absolutely nothing to do with the healing world or Reiki or spirituality. And so little did I know that I was going to become a healer. I started having healer friends come into my life, and I'm like, okay, I hear you, but like, I've tried it, not into it, all the things. And then it was, I think, June 2020. I was driving to a client and I pulled over because I received the message, it's time. And I was like, oh, and I just got goosebumps right now just saying that again. It was literally that clear. It's time. And so I reached out to one of my girlfriends and I said, I would really like your Reiki master's number. I'm getting the message that it's time. And so I did my training. I did multiple trainings. I enjoyed it, but I knew I resonate with somebody that has a hard time meditating. I like the activity. I like doing something. I like the act of doing. And so I just wanted to learn more. And again, to take it back to 2019, I had my first breathwork session. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Angie Lee, but I went to her Pays to Be Brave event in San Diego. And then Samantha Skelly was on stage and she led 1,500 women in a breathwork ceremony. And the energy was incredible. And again, I didn't know what was going on, but it was one of the most life-changing experiences that I've ever had. And again, it's one of those things like you just have to try it to see it, to feel it, to know it. But I was really struggling in my life to a point where I didn't know how to forgive. And I was hanging on to a lot of things. I was sweeping a lot of things under the rug. I wasn't being honest with myself or the people in my life. And my intention going into that was I want to learn how to forgive. And within the first 5 minutes of breathing, I say it, I share this story often because I can still see it so clearly. Within the first 5 minutes of breathing, I had a vision pop up to my right and like in like a little think bubble of a friendship that I was having a really hard time letting go of. And in that 5 minutes of myself breathing, I had closure and I learned how to forgive and we forgave each other. And then not even 12 hours later, I ran into that friend at that event and it happened exactly how I saw it, but I was the only one forgiving because I can only control my own part, right? So it didn't go exactly as my vision, as my premonition, but I had so much closure and I was like, okay, this I can do. And so after I, became a Reiki master, I was like, okay, what else? For somebody who doesn't want to just sit and lie down and has a hard time, what else can I do? And so that led me to breath work and I'm obsessed. Obsessed.
What did you find was the greatest reward from receiving the wisdom of breath work as well as giving that same wisdom to your clients?
Freedom. Really, just peace of mind, freedom, the ability to let go, to see things clearly, to understand that you don't have to hold on to things. I'm a big proponent of therapy. I talk about it a lot on my podcast. And I share a lot of my story on my podcast about my journey with therapy. But there's a part of therapy which I tell people that you can filter yourself. You can, in a sense, depending on how far you want to go, manipulate your session and your perspective. And sometimes our thinking mind doesn't always get it right? Because that's how we perceive things.
Yeah.
And so I tell people that when you are breathing, that you're confronted with your honest self, there's no hiding from that. Where in therapy, you can still hide pieces of the story. You can, and I say it because I've done it, not wanting to, but thinking back, like, oh, I should have opened up a little bit more. I should have, and there's been times where I went to therapy for years and have been able to have aha moments in one breathwork session. So to see my clients do the same, it's just like, oh, yeah, that's why we do it.
Yeah. So I recognize in you showing others similarly to what I do when they decide to connect to spirit in that way through a breathwork sequence and the modality that, through you holding the space, is that you have power, you have complete control, and that it's time to return back to that self, right? To be self-reliant again, to be knowledgeable in remembering, not knowledgeable, remembering all the information that's been innate and born within you, that these things that we're doing in society, right? The getting the job, the, all these goals that was placed upon us and not feeling truly fulfilled decides to surface when we decide, oh, life, we're breathing now and connecting to the truth of who we really are. And so that's amazing for you to share that story and that part of breathwork. And I think a lot of people don't really know what entails and can be a little bit confusing, right? Depending on what they're looking at and who they follow. Because sometimes you can get those really convulsive, depending on the type of breathwork you're doing, where the breath is a breath of fire, right? Very, very deep and fast. And that can be such a rude awakening. And then at the same time, there's also gentle, more guided, and also depends on your practitioner and who's holding space for you to allow you to feel safe to hey, yes, it's time to feel all these parts of yourself. You're still gonna feel safe. It's, it's now that you're aligned to me, so we're gonna be okay. Right?
Yeah.
I want to get to know a little bit more about how it's really infusing this liberation in your life. And before we do, I'd just like to just do a quick pause and share some love to our sponsors of this episode today. I'm just so grateful and thankful for the women of In Her Purpose, Jen Marquez and Rose Boado, who, they're authors of this amazing book that they created where they interviewed 40 Asian women in redefining success in their life and now creating this beautiful platform and community for women to continue to uplift themselves and to be in their passion and also live in their purpose. So just sit back, sis, and we will be right back.
Rose Boado and Jennifer Redondo Marquez are the founders and co-authors of In Her Purpose, 40 Principles of Asian Women Redefining Success on Their Own Terms. These are true stories of women who took different career paths ranging from fashion to art to entertainment to entrepreneurship and many more. Rose and Jen embarked on the In Her Purpose project to advocate for women, to feed and fuel the future generation, and to help women define and live out their life's purpose.
What's up, family? I am Anita Vita, Master Medical Qigong teacher and healer. I believe that nurses deserve to be nurtured as much as they give. As a high-performing woman myself, I coach women how to overcome chronic gut pain so that they have total freedom in their life through the practice of medical Qigong. In 2011, while working as a nurse in the post-anesthesia unit, I experienced severe burnout, and it expressed itself as IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome. Discovering this practice allowed me to eradicate this gut disease completely and naturally through meditation alone. The slow, mindful movements of medical Qigong are potent and transformational, recalibrating your cellular structure by cultivating your body's natural energy and healing source called Qi. Today, I coach and empower women to achieve the same result through private and group programs, workshops, and retreat experiences to awaken you to your truth and be the highest version of yourself. If you're still in pain, you've tried everything, and you're sick and tired going from doctor to doctor with only prescriptions and strict diets as solutions, fear no more, my friend, because you have found me. Send me a message right now at anita@nacionvita.com and we'll get you to rise out of that pain, guaranteed. So getting back to how breathwork is now changing your life and that you've become so obsessed to share this beautiful gift, how does one begin, and what should they expect when they're kind of feeling like, I don't know, I do want to try after hearing your story, Haley? How does one start?
I love this question because it doesn't have to be hard, right? We're breathing every day. That's the gift of life. We get to breathe every single day. And the moment we stop, we are no longer here. And I don't want that to be morbid, but we have this gift that we get to do every single day. And so if one wants to start practicing, I just ask that you notice your breath right now, right? Are you holding your breath? Are you breathing quickly? Are you slowing down your breath? Are you breathing in your chest or in your belly? That's how you can start, just by acknowledging and paying attention to how you're already breathing. And something that I love about breathwork is that I struggle with, and I'm starting to tell a lot more people about it, but I struggle with more so depression, but also anxiety, and using my breath and learning how to use my breath has really helped me a tremendous amount. And so if I'm feeling a little overwhelmed or a little anxious, one of the best things that I can do for myself is to take a deep inhale breath through my nose and then sigh it out. So if you would like me to show you that, I can do that.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Demo time, guys.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Please, the team.
Exactly.
Participate.
Let's do it. So just go ahead and get comfy, and you can close your eyes if you would like. You can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, whatever feels good for you. And just take a nice, long, slow inhale through the nose. And then just sigh it out. Start to feel your body melt. One of my favorite things to do is to do this 3 to 5 times. So go ahead and take another deep inhale breath through your nose. And sigh it out. And let's just do one more, just like that. Exactly. Take a deep inhale breath through your nose. And when you're ready, sigh it out. How you feeling?
Are we ready to come out now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me open my eyes.
Yeah, exactly. It can take you there. It can take you into such a relaxed place so quickly if you allow it to, right? And sometimes my clients, experience resistance when it comes to breathing. And then I just like to ask the question, where else are you being resistant in your life? What are you wanting so badly that you have such a tight hold on? And see if you can just loosen that grip. I actually just experienced this yesterday. I was really struggling with, content. It's not the funnest part of doing what we do is for me. I don't necessarily enjoy creating content. I only create when I'm feeling in flow. And yesterday I was not feeling in flow. And I had this, maybe it wasn't yesterday, the day before. I was really struggling to get out of bed. And I was trying so hard. I'm like, I just have to post something. And I put so much pressure on myself, even though I had things, ready to go. Those didn't feel like it for that day. And so I just let it go. And I gave myself the permission not to post. And then the next day I went out, I moved my body, and then I was in total flow and received a free juice. And I was like, okay, thank you. I acknowledge that. I am receiving that. And since then I've been like, okay, let's pump out the content because now I feel it. So
Yeah.
if you're feeling resistant, I just invite you to acknowledge what else you're being resistant to and how can we loosen our grip to the things and allow ourselves to rest and to take care of ourselves and to do the things that we know we need to do, but don't always do them.
First of all, great session. And ladies and gentlemen, look how many, that was less than a few minutes.
Yeah.
I believe that was a minute maybe, or 30 seconds.
Maybe not even a minute, probably.
That.
Yeah.
No.
A few seconds.
I can drop in very quickly. So I didn't want to even come back out. I was like, do I still have to talk?
Yeah.
And so thank you for that demonstration and the truth behind, that's a powerful question, right? And when you ask powerful questions, you will receive a powerful answer. And I love that you said exactly what you said, like, where are you in your life still holding a tight grip on, not just a grip, and a tight grip on that you're not willing to let go of. And this will definitely get you still and yet still active to get to that path of, okay, let me see what that is. What's my blind spot? Or pretending like it's a blind spot. I bet you already know in your gut what it is.
You'll always
right?
know.
Your
gut is always right.
And thank you for sharing your experience and what that was like for you in pumping out content. Now, as a content creator myself, I could speak to that and everybody else who's watching and listening in to us. And you notice this masculinity of like, do. And you're like, man, but I got to show up. Like, how do we still show up gracefully and it still feels good to us? And that's where the magic of relaxation happens, where you are about to receive, right? That feminine energy, and you're giving permission to, let's just let it go. I have them good days and bad days, and today's not the day.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
And we see only the highlight reels of what people are willing to share, not the behind the scenes. And this is real talk, right? Like, man, I don't know how I'm going to get, like today for me, I don't know how I'm going to get my energy up and be ready for this show with Haley. I got to show up. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to let it go. Let me relax and do my practices, my meditation, or, whatever it is for me, getting sunshine, just getting it out of my mind. And sure enough, right, like about an hour before our show starts, I get a phone call of this amazing opportunity for me to host a sponsorship with this charity event that I am co-creating, collabing with. And I'm like, oh my God, I received a better package than I have ever imagined. And I'm like, this is the receiving, because I let it go immediately. But the whole day, sis, I was just like what you just described, like, how am I going to get through? I was you today, like you yesterday, but me today, like what that was happening. And in an instant, you guys, it happens instantly. And the joy from it just rose up. And I was like, thank you. I am paying attention. And it's moment to moment. but I have to give myself permission to breathe and be aware of it and relax, right? Because the breath relaxes us if we allow it to. So
Yeah.
super powerful. Thank you for that demo and
Oh,
giving.
you're welcome.
So
You're welcome.
generous, Haley. Y'all, Haley, real quick. Her content is fire. It is amazing. And I just wanted to share, sis, that I see you all the time. And thank you for showing up even when it's really difficult. And I know how when we are in flow, like you pump out so much. Yet even when you're not, or you feel like you're not, you still share something really beautiful. So thank you so much for reminding all of us when we're high performing, when we want to keep going and we want to keep showing up. Also the power of, yo, I need a break and I'm going to set boundaries on what that looks like for me. But I'll be back. Like I'm not quitting. I'm just taking a break. And you know what? You should too. And it's magical and necessary, non-negotiable, really.
Thank you.
So yeah, please receive it.
Thank you for that. I am totally receiving that. And it's actually something I've been practicing today. I'm like, I am so open to receiving. And I truly do give it to rest. And I think something, if I may add, that it's helpful, because I don't want to tell anybody that they should do something. It's helpful to pay attention to how our bodies are feeling. So if we are feeling tired, if our bodies are feeling shaky, if our bodies are feeling like we just can't do anything, or our bodies are limp, pay attention. Your body's telling you something that you need. And if you get quiet and if you ask yourself, what am I needing? Your body will let you know. Maybe it's a juice. Maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's getting outside, getting some sunshine. Maybe it's taking a nap. Your body always knows what it needs. You just have to be open and willing to listen.
Amen, sis. The body has infinite wisdom and messages when you're ready to hear it. I'll also add ugly crying. Okay.
Oh,
it's okay to cry, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've cried many times on this show.
I'm a
by
big
myself and with my
crying.
guests.
Yeah.
What's that?
I am a big proponent of crying, and I never used to be. So crying is on the newer side of things within the last couple of years, and it's so healing. One of my girlfriends, Jessica, says it's just a normal bodily function, right? If we don't cry, we're emotionally constipated. And imagine, and I mean, I'm sure all of us have experienced constipation at least once in our lifetime, but imagine the relief that you felt after you've finally been able to have a good, successful bowel movement. It feels good, right? And so it feels maybe not so good in the moment of crying, but after it's like, oh, I needed that.
Yeah. Normal. It's normal. So let's normalize it. I share that all the time. And if you don't relate to the crying, I know you're going to relate to the constipation. Don't even lie. Everybody's gone through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us, sis, what is it that really helps you with your process of radical self-love?
Again, it's honoring your body. For me, it's honoring my body where it's at, what it wants, what it needs. In the last couple of years, because of the pandemic, I didn't realize, while in it the last couple of years, I didn't realize how much self-love, self-care I didn't give myself, right? We were home. I thought I was taking care of myself. I thought I was doing the things. But for me, my biggest form of self-love is accepting myself, but also moving my body. And everything was closed. Like we couldn't go on hikes, which I love. We couldn't go on hikes. We couldn't go to the gym. And if you would have known me pre-pandemic, I was a gym rat. It was my second home. And to be able to not do that, or not be able to go to the gym and not be able to go to the parks and to move my body, was really challenging. And I am not one. I was so stubborn. I was so stubborn that I wouldn't work out at home. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. And so I carried that literally until a few months ago. And just a couple of weeks ago, I started going on hikes again. And I'm like, oh, this is what it is. This is what I needed. So for me, it's moving my body. It's accepting myself. It's honoring my truth. And then something else, because I do host the Unfiltered Soul, I didn't realize how much of a people pleaser I was. Literally, I just learned this about myself a couple of weeks ago. And I'm like, oh, Haley, honey, little baby girl, we can stop doing that. And so I'm really practicing on, honoring myself and my desires and my truth and what I believe in, and what works for me might not work for somebody else, and that it's okay.
That's a big one. To honoring ourselves. Thank you for sharing that, sis.
Yeah, you're welcome.
How do you align what you're doing now in breathwork facilitating and hosting your amazing podcast with your passion and purpose?
I think my purpose has always been to be in the coaching space. I remember my first, I'm going to say, breakdown, because there's been many. I was probably 22 or 23. It was 2012 to 2012. Yes, it was 2012. Oh my goodness, that was like 10 years ago. And I was having an emotional breakdown. And I told my mom, I just want to help people. And for me, 10 years ago, it was before Facebook. I still had a BlackBerry. Instagram wasn't a thing. I just wanted to help, but I didn't know how. And then I had this limiting belief that I was only 23 and who would listen to me. And so I've always had this desire to help and to see people's blind spots and to coach. And so now that I'm doing breath work, I'll take it back. I became a health coach. And there was so much that I didn't necessarily agree with. And I was struggling with my own disordered eating, and I felt like a fraud. And so even though I was coaching at the time, it wasn't in alignment with who I was. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. My clients got results. But in the back of my mind and in the back of my heart, I knew I couldn't do it anymore because I was still struggling with my own disordered eating. And I just really wanted people to learn how to honor themselves and their body. And that's not what I was doing. So I had to make that decision to like, okay, this is not in alignment with who you are. Let's stop. And that was hard. So now that I'm in the breathwork space and I'm in the healing space and I'm in the, I'm doing my best, right? Because I don't think I'll ever be completely healed, right? There's never an end. We just get to go deeper within ourselves.
Yeah.
I now get to do that. And actually today on Instagram, I made my first post that I'm ready to accept clients one-on-one again.
Yay!
Yeah. So that's exciting and scary. Right?
Watch out.
That fear, I'll be honest. But I know I have the capacity to hold somebody. I know I have the capacity to love somebody. And I know that my clients will have discernment and do what's best for them, and that it's not about me, it's about them. And I'm just holding them in such a loving way. So I hope that answered your question. I feel like I went all over with that one. But that's what feels in alignment for me right now. It's just holding and seeing and honoring and witnessing. Because how many of us don't get witnessed on a daily basis, whether at your job, whether in your relationship, whether you're a parent? How many of us feel unseen and unheard? So I'm opening up that space to see and to hear and to hold your hand while you walk through the fire.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that with all of us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's huge. I already see how amazing it's going to be, where y'all are going to breathe. She's going to keep you accountable because, you know, she got like the coaching, fitness, athlete side of her too. So yet also hold you.
Yes.
Afterwards, like, okay, let's put a Band-Aid now.
Yeah.
Let's brush it off. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So now, because you've just announced that, how do we connect with you? How can we support you in all that you're doing?
So yes, so I am on Instagram mostly. I am at Haley Navarro. I also have a website, which it's not the best website, but it is what it is. 𝙍𝙗𝙗navarro.com. Do things messy and ugly. It doesn't really matter. Just get it out there. And then I host breathwork circles. So I have a circle coming up on Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And I have a coupon code. So your first one is free. All you have to do is type in the code first. And then I was going to add something else. Oh, I do have recordings. I have 3 recordings of breath meditations. So one for getting you grounded, one for getting you into the present moment, and one for sleep. And I can totally give you the link for you to sign up for that. And that's free as well.
Thank you so much. That's so much value, everybody. We will link her links in the show notes, but as well as in the comments if you're watching this live, and when you watch and listen into the replay, so you can connect with Haley. I'm sure you can direct message her as well and ask, and she'll send it to you. And just let her know that you guys are, you were on my show and you watched and listened to her. I'm sure she will send all her goodies to you. So thank you again, Haley, for coming onto the show, giving us that amazing gift of your demo, and now to hear you share your story and offerings now to the world. It's so amazing, because we need so many more light workers just like you. I appreciate you, sis.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me on and doing the work that you do. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yay. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Stay back. I have to remind my guests to stay in the green room, because I always want to chat it up and just see how they're doing. And anyway, y'all, thank you so much for being here. I hope that Haley's story and her journey into breathwork and allowing and being has inspired you to really add that layer of self-awareness with yourself, and that you connect with her to learn more. If this episode definitely touched your heart in some way, shape, or form, and if you know somebody that this can bring value to, please always continue to share it, to tune in. And as always, I appreciate you when you follow me, when you like and subscribe on YouTube and all of my platforms. As always, everybody, I appreciate you. I root for your rise. I will see you next week, everyone. Have a good night.